Sharon Burrs would say, life is precious and precarious and never to be taken for granted. That's important. If you take life for granted, you will lose it. If you don't take care of yourself, you'll lose it, right? God has no guarantees for us, right? Because he has guarantees on the things he can do. He has no guarantees on the things we should do. So scripture would say, God is not mocked. God is not disturbed. Whatsoever a person sows, that's what the person will reap. If you take care of your body, you'll reap the result of taking care of your body. If you don't take care of your body, you'll reap the result of not taking care of your body. If you are slack, you'll reap the result of being slack. If you give attention to the details, necessary details of life, you'll reap the result of giving attention to the necessary details of life. So life is precious, life is precarious, and is never to be taken for granted, right? And we all have a certain number of days we have been given. None of us is going to live here forever. None. No matter how holy you are, no matter how much you love God, this side of eternity is not the forever side of eternity. Even if you have to live 150 years, you're going to live here one day, right? And those number of days has already been, God has determined that number of days you're supposed to be here, but you can leave earlier if you're careless about your life. So life is something we need to treasure, appreciate, and treat well. We need to treat it with care. Sleep when we're supposed to sleep. Be about our business when we're supposed to be about our business. Sow when we're supposed to sow. Reap when we're supposed to reap. Grow when we're supposed to grow. Exercise our mind. Gain the knowledge that we need to be able to win in the affairs of life. Develop ourselves, be people of value. All of those is what it means to take care of your life, and treat your life as being precious. Our understanding of life and death empowers us to use the time we have to live with both humility and urgency, right? When we understand life, we don't take it for granted, right? My mama passed on here in June of this year, right? If I did not take care of my mama before she passed on, I'll be full of regrets because there's nothing I can do right now that she's gone, right? My joy is all that I did before she died, right? Whether I did my best or not, that is my joy, right? If I was postponing things, then I'll be full of regret. But when she had life and that I did the best I could, that is my joy. That is my memory of her, right? But none of us has been promised, tomorrow. All we have is today, right? And whether we have regrets tomorrow or not is a function of how we utilize our today, how we make the best use of what we have today, because it's not going to be there forever, right? I'm retiring here in 3 years' time, right? Whatever I do, I've done up till now, and I'm going to do before I retire is all I can do, in my active work life, and when I retire, my retirement is going to be asking, how did I make use of my active work life? It's going to ask me questions. It's going to determine my level of living thereby. So I'm going to be judged. This time of my life is going to be judged. So it's up to me to make the best of it, to be able to get the result I want when I retire, right? That's the way you treat life. Life is sowing and reaping. Nothing is automatic. God has given us the leverage position and the ability to sow so we can get the result that we want. Same thing, we're going to the end of a year, 2024 here, whatever 2024 has been, it's a time to take record, take account of what you've learned, so you can use it in 2025. Your 2025 has no right to be less than your 2024. Your 2025 has no right to be the same as your 2024. Your 2025 must be much, 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 much better than your 2024, because you have garnered wisdom from living 2024, and that those wisdom should do an answer for you. Those wisdom you've garnered in your life up to this time should work for you in 2025. If it doesn't, then you're a failure, right? But because you're not a failure, it's for you to use the wisdom that you have garnered up till this time of your life to make 2025 a much better year for you, to be the best year you've had, to date, right? Your best life is never behind you. Your best life is always before you, because you are wiser than you've ever been before, right? Might not be as strong physically as you've always been, but physical strength is not what wins the battle, right? What you have lost in physical strength, you have gained in wisdom. And that ought to do something for you to more than compensate for your physical strength, right? So that's important. So our understanding of life and death empowers us to use the time we have to live with humility and an urgency. Humility because, you know, we our time is limited, and as we get older, there are things that we can do, like we've always done. We're deceiving ourselves if we try to do the things we used to do at 20 at the age of 60, right? That'll be self-deception. You have to respect your body. You have to respect your limitations. In life, every one of us will always have strengths and weaknesses. You use your strength, you guard against your weakness. You don't go treat your weakness as if it's a strength. That'll be foolishness, and you might get the penalty for that, right? So we'll go on. Sharon Precedence says, I believe strongly that we need not to give up on the world, but to invest in a healthy, resilient future, right? The issues of life is not something to give up on. Like I said, concerning Nigerians, yeah, a lot of people had given up because whoever they want to rule in this country did not win. So they said, oh, if the person doesn't win, then there's no future for me. That's stupid, right? Because that person is not God. The only person that can stop or deter your future is God. For as long as God is alive, for as long as God is in your throne, your future cannot be marred, right? Because God is the determinant of your future, right? So uh it's up to us to invest, in our future, to sow, because what you sow is what you're going to reap. She goes on and says that I both respect and resonate to the impulse to preempt human suffering at all cost. Right? It talks about preempting human suffering at all cost. And that makes sense, in terms of the way I see it is like I said, right? For instance, I'm going to retire. If I do nothing to prepare for my retirement, I'll be stupid. I would live a retirement life that I don't want. Right? It's up to me to determine the kind of retirement life I want, and be able to pay the price, make the sacrifices today so that I can get that result. It's not going to come by accident. My retirement life will be the retirement life that I designed for, right? I'm making an appointment for where I will be in retirement today by the things I am doing today. If I do the right things today, I will get the design I desire. If I don't do the right things today, I will not get the design that I want, right? Same thing about anybody's life, whether it be your graduation, your schooling, your marriage, your children, we can design for it. All we have to do is ask ourselves, what do I need to do today to get the result that I want? We can plan our lives, we can design our lives. For my business, I'm already designing for 2025. We already set a target for what we want to make in 2025. We know what we made in 2023. We know what we're making in 2024. We have already set a target for what we're going to make in 2025. As we set that target, then we'll be able to do the things today that will get us that target. January 1st, 2025, we'll begin to set into motion our plans to get the target that we have set for ourselves, right? And that's just the way the life works. Life is not que sera, sera. Life is the way you design it to be, right? If you don't design your life the way you want it, you will end up somewhere other than the where you want to, and you will not be happy where you end up, right? That's just the way life runs. It's up to us to align and do life better, right?